Hi, welcome back. Well, today this is kind of part 2 continuation of yesterday's video. Yesterday's video we cooked the pork roast in the Uniflame steel spun oven. Today we're going to cook pork roast in my Ooni Pro wood-fired oven. So this is the oven in question. Those who've been following my channel would have seen this before. So actually got the pizza stones in there, and over here we can put charcoal or timber, or charcoal and timber. So today, because we're not cooking a pizza, so I don't want to get too hot, we're just going to use some charcoal. And the charcoal of choice today is the Blackpool charcoal. So it's made from Australian grown nutshells such as macadamia nuts and so on. So very environmentally friendly and very good for enclosed barbecuing, such as in the wood-fired oven. So first thing we need to do is light these Blackpool charcoal up, and to do that I use a Uniflame charcoal starter. Okay, so made of stainless steel, folds flat. As you can see, I've already got some charcoal in there. I don't know if you can see that. So not a lot, don't need a lot of charcoal. So what I'll do now is just start these fire cubes up. These are just the cheap jiffy ones you see at Coles. Give that about 15-20 minutes and then we'll place them into the wood-fired oven. Now as you can see, these Blackpool charcoals very easy to light. This has only been about 5 minutes after I've lit it. You can see how well it burns, just takes off. See if I can show you the shot from the top. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, those Coles Blackpool charcoal should be ready now. So let's go and put some gloves on and place them in the wood-fired oven. You can see there, I don't know if that's showing up or not. Got a lot of, there we go, that probably looks better. That's well and truly ready. So what we do now, very carefully, oh, that's hot. Oh. Okay. Now I don't know if that's going to be enough. I don't know if that's too much. This is all an experiment. So you're going to watch this as I'm trying. This is the first roast that I'm actually going to cook inside this wood-fired oven. And now we just wait for that temperature to get up a bit. I want it stabilised. I reckon if I can get it around the 200. Now I don't know if you can see that. You can see how quick that temperature is going up. So it looks to me like we may have too many coals in there. You saw the small amount of coals, that charcoal that we put in there. It's so efficient, this oven. It's got 2 layers and it's got insulation in between the 2 layers, hence why it's so efficient, and hence why we've been able to get away with actually placing it on top of a timber top table. Now that timber is actually cold. You put your hand underneath there now, you can very easily hold your hand under there and that timber remains cold. Even when I get this up around 550 degrees Celsius for baking the pizzas, that timber still remains cold. The other half of that pork roast that I showed you yesterday, that I cooked on the actual Uniflame steel spun oven. So what I'm doing today, I'm going to use one of my cast iron pans. Now you can see there, that's sitting on around 250 and it's still climbing. It's actually starting to reach 275, so it's obvious I've got too many coals in there, charcoal, even though it's not that much. But the beauty with these, you can adjust the temps in these by the amount of draft. So how this works is, I'll show you around the back here. So you can see, let's see if we can get this to shoot up. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. So you can see where it gets its draft. So that base where you put the your charcoal or your timber or both sits on that grate that's on an angle, and it's got all these little air holes drilled on that grate underneath, and what that does is allows the air flow to get through, and then it goes through, it goes up this chimney you see here. Now you can control the amount of airflow that goes through this chimney by two methods. This is be the main one, so I can completely close the chimney off. So that's what I'm going to try now. Oops, that's actually quite warm, so I'll get the grub. I'm going to close that off, and then that should drop the temperature down a bit. So what I've done here, just to let a bit of the heat out, is I've actually, instead of hooking this leg in over there, which will close the door right up against it, because this door is also insulated, it's double layer with insulation on the inside, and it's got a thick glass there you can see through. I'm leaving a bit of a gap here, but just got to check and make sure this timber doesn't get too hot, so I'm just going to keep a close eye on that right now. If that doesn't work, but that is starting to drop, probably would still like to get the temp down a little bit lower. It's probably a very efficient way to cook. For baking, you don't need a lot of timber or charcoal in here. Pop this door open a bit. So obviously it looks like I could have got away with half that amount of charcoal pieces, and you can see there I haven't got that many in there. What's there? It's probably 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 25, about 25 pieces of the black pearl charcoal. I think if I only had to put 12 in there, I think it would have been enough. So I'm just going to leave that door propped open a bit like that, because I don't want this roast to cook too quick. Okay, here we are, we're back now. This is about 1 hour. It's been cooking for nearly 1 hour now, and as you can see, I've still got the door just latched off a bit, and in the past hour I've still got this just cracked open just a tiny bit here to allow the bit of the heat out. Now they're starting to die down, those heat beads, so I'm going to, okay, she looks pretty good. Not too bad at all. I'll just take them out. It's actually starting to form a bit of a crackle too, I can see on that side. Alright, I don't know if you can see that. It'll be time to turn it around, but what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to place this. Actually, I want just turn this around a tad so this side can cook a bit. Awkward. Very awkward this. So place this over on this side, like so, because what I've got here is some potatoes. I also want to bake. Place them on this side. Now place the door back. This time I'm going to fully fill this door up. And we'll come back in about 20 minutes or maybe half an hour and see what it looks like. I did add some more the black pearl charcoal in the wood-fired oven here. Now I'll just show you quickly. You see there, so I've added another 8 pieces. Take my advice, guys, if you're going to buy one of these sizzling pans, don't buy this one with this ridiculous handle. Wow, look at the crackle. Oh, sweet. Wow. Alright, I'm just going to turn this around. So get a nice crackle on this side. Wow, check that out. Oh. I'll show you the one to go for. Check this out. Look how easy that is. Now I don't know if you noticed there when I took that roast just out now, you might have seen there's a little probe in there. That's the temperature probe. So what that is, it's called a meter. So it runs on Bluetooth and connects to the phone. So it monitors the internal temperature and monitors external temperature as well. So this is the app that meter probe uses. So I'm using Fahrenheit. So on the left, that's the temperature in the pink. That's the actual temperature, internal temperature of the meat. The blue is the target temperature, and on the green is the ambient temperature. So that's what the temperature is inside that that oven right now. Now that's not a true 100% accurate reading because I've got that thermometer pushed in the fair way, so it's getting a lot of radiant heat from the actual roast itself. It's telling me I've got 13 minutes to go, which is probably about right. Then it's got a fair bit of time you got to rest. But also there's a graph, that's a cooking graph. So the green is the ambient temperature. You can tell when I've opened the doors. You see those big large spikes there, there's 3. That's when I've opened the door. You can tell the first spike. Just after that's when I add extra black pearl charcoal. Now, one word of advice with those meter probe. Do be very careful with them if you're using it inside this Ooni Pro wood-fired oven. The reason being is you can easily damage from overheat the probe. So I believe the probe, I'm not too sure what the maximum temperature is. I need to go online and ensure you'll be able to check. So yeah, you just make sure you know how to handle the temp. Keep monitoring. I'm not using any timber whatsoever because I've put a piece of timber in there. That thing will shoot up to over 500 degrees in minutes, virtually minutes, like 2-3 minutes, and that'll be well over 500 degrees. And that sort of temperature will damage your meat probe. Oh, isn't that crackle? We just need a little bit more on this other side here. These over. These potatoes are starting to look pretty good. Starting to cook. They've still got a bit to go. I probably should have put these in a bit earlier. That's alright. It's the first time I tried. Right, like this door back on. Show you what the black pearl charcoal looks like. Okay, you see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 good solid pieces there left, and it's still producing plenty of heat. Okay, according to the meter probe, that steak should be, I should say roast should be cooked by now. So just need to remove it and let it rest for about 10-15 minutes. Look at that crackle. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, hopefully that's in focus. Nice and even all the way around. Gotta say, geez, I reckon that's a real success, that. Look at that. Just look at the juices coming out of that. Just a little bit right on the edge here. Down below there. It's not crackle. That's alright. Something I need to be aware of next time. So I've got my Snow Peak cutting board, the Snow Peak knife in there. So I'll just let that rest a bit. Thought I'll show you how this is going. Probably needs a little bit more heat there to finish those potatoes off. There's no point wasting any of the charcoal, because they're not too far off being cooked, and I think there'll be enough heat there to finish it off.